opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of Shaw Cable Systems or of the station. Through our access policy, we provide the opportunity for community groups and individuals to express their points of view.
You are watching Lit Happens, Saskatchewan's showcase of the literary talent of the province. We are back on location in Levin's Coffee in the Ideas Building beside the Farmers Market. So it's a beautiful summer day here in Saskatoon. And I'm really excited about my guest, Mr. Dennis Rimmer. Dennis, welcome to Lit Happens.
This is a great thrill, and no, the kudos all have to go to you. You're the guy who kind of jump-started the self-publishing industry in Saskatchewan 4 years ago. Who's West Funk? Now you're a big star. This is great. Thank you very much.
I'm a legend in my mind.
Yeah, in your own time, too. You're wonderful.
Thank you, Dennis. We're going to break out of the book box today. We're going to talk more about the online writing, the digital age, blogging. Actually, I want to say that you are about the third blogger we've had on the show since the show's incarnation. We've had two well-known Saskatchewan bloggers on the show, Robert Frankus and Michael Gadet. But now we have you here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sort of from the top to the
Yeah.
middle. Average. I'm the average Canadian, like Maclean's magazine. I'm 5'9", I weigh 184 pounds.
Actually, talking about that, I think we need to address that. You've had quite a career in and out of the writing world and in and out of the broadcasting world. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, it's a story. It's a story. Long story short, born in Ontario, ended up in Saskatchewan for high school at Bedford Road. Yeah. And as I always say, I went to Bedford, so I can't add, but it's just a jibe at Bedford. I didn't really mean it. And then I ended up going to BCIT after high school, British Columbia Institute of Technology, in Burnaby, BC, studying broadcast communications. I worked in radio on and off from then until now, pretty much. I worked in Vancouver, Victoria, about 20 years in the US, and I also wrote a weekly newspaper column for, I think it was 14 years, at the Daily Bellingham Herald newspaper in Bellingham, explaining Canada to Americans. Wow. So I moved back here in 2000 and I've done odd jobs and bounced around a bit since then.
Yes, you're a jack of all trades. You wear many hats in the world, like a lot of us.
That's right. And I got to know you kind of through, my brother knows you. Yeah. Because he has a bookstore in Ottawa, and he was carrying one of your first books, and then somehow we connected.
Yeah, well, we should throw your brother a plug. Well, your brother is David Rimmer, a Saskatoonian who owns the very well-known After Stonewall Bookstore
in Ottawa. True.
And he's going through his own little hurdles right now. Let's talk about that. His bookstore may or may not
survive. I think he wants to put it up for sale. It's he's gone through some changes a couple of years ago. He lost his partner, and so he's moved to a new house, and he's getting on. I'm older than he is, but he's getting ready to be a pensioner. I think he can get his CPP now, and so he's looking for another stage in his life. And the bookstore is, unfortunately, it is a landmark. I don't know what people in Ottawa are going to do in that community without him there.
I agree.
He knows everybody and everything.
Yep.
And it's more than just a bookstore. It's a gathering place, a community center, a place where people can come and talk about things, talk about different issues, and he leads them one way or another, maybe sells a book or a postcard along the way. Yeah. But you're talking about the digital age, and apparently it's having a direct impact on his sales, and so it's not quite making it as well as he would hope right now.
And so I want your opinion on it. More and more people are reading online. The digital age is dramatically altered the publishing landscape of Canada and all over the world. What's your take on it? Are books on their way out?
Well, I guess the experts, or some pundits would say they are, that we don't need bookstores anymore, we don't need books. I'm on the other side of things. I kind of like a combination of both. I'm always reading books, hardcover books, softcover books that I've got from a library or a bookstore or from my own collection I've carted around for years.
Me too.
On the other side of the coin, I like newspapers. If I go to a different city, the first thing I do is grab a newspaper and read it. However, I also get my information. I follow lots of sports, so I'm reading the Ottawa Sun online, the Vancouver Province online, USA Today online,
Wow.
those kind of things. So a little bit of both. And I don't know what the online people are going to do. They complain that they can't get revenue from offering their product for free. So I don't know. Maybe it's like the old days in radio when team owners were opposed to having baseball, football, and hockey games on the radio, thinking it would take away from their audience, and that didn't happen, and the two got along. So maybe the same sort of conjunction will happen
Wow.
with this digital slash actual hand printed, holding a thing in your hand kind of thing.
We've had other authors on the show who have often alluded to the digital age will reach a peak and society will come to a point where they will re-embrace an actual physical book in their hands, and there will be a very healthy coexistence of everything. What do you think?
Could be. I've got a e-reader and I haven't used it yet. But a friend of mine who's just had some hand surgery, she downloaded her first novel the other day from the library to her reader. And I think David has a reader too. But well, on the other hand, though, the digital thing has helped people such as myself or anyone who wants a book out there in digital land, get it going. You can do it like almost overnight on your computer at home, click
Yes.
on the Kindle or whatever it is, and Amazon's follow their program, and you're done. Bingo, bango, bongo, there it is. So lots of people who would worry about printing their own copy or trying to get a publisher, that's not going to be an obstacle anymore. So maybe again, like you said, get back to the point where the digital craze goes away and then a happy medium is reached. But it happens again. Television was supposed to kill the movies. How much money did Batman make? Or what are those big ones?
Avengers?
Titanic, the Avengers. So they haven't gone away.
Yeah. So let's talk more about where can viewers exactly find your work online? Because I happen to know that you are an exquisite writer. I've had the privilege of checking out a lot of your stuff.
Well, thank you. So, well, I just happen to have. I'm not a fiction writer. Like I said, my introduction into sort of column writing, I'll call it, was with the Bellingham Herald explaining Canada to Americans.
Right.
And then I sold a few other pieces to other newspapers and magazines down there when I lived in Bellingham, Washington. But now I found a place called, I don't know if you can get this or not, The Examiner is what the website is. If you just go on your Google or whatever search engine you have Dennis Rimmer Examiner, you'll go right to my site. So what the Examiner is an online newspaper. Some people say that us writers are just part of the content farm. But again, it's a way to get your work out there, and you can compile, like if you do, anybody can apply to be a columnist. I'm the Canadian Cultural Affairs reporter for the Examiner, but there's someone who is, I think, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders correspondent, or someone else who's the Saskatchewan Farm correspondent, or Toronto Argonauts, or civic politics. You could carve out your own niche and then publish away once or twice a week or whatever you want. And then, after a year, you'll have a stack like this of things that you could print if you wanted to, or publish digitally. So, Dennis Rimmer Examiner, and I need subscribers. The trick to making money for this is to need subscribers, and there's a button you can click that says subscribe, which means you get my work as soon as it's published, as it were, in an in an email, but no ads, no pop-ups, no scamming or spamming or any of that kind of stuff. So I write Canadian stuff. It's still funny how much even Canadians don't know about each other. So like maybe bubbling away in my mind is a column about self-publishing craze that's taking over. And one of the leaders is Saskatoon's own West Funk, et cetera, et cetera. And then I also do on radio. We have started by a guy from Saskatchewan, Saul Jacobson. He worked in broadcasting around the province. He had a broadcast school in Regina. So you can go on your web, search again, ltdradio.com, and it's a digital station. You'll get their homepage, and then you click on the tune in and click on listen. And I do a feature. It's called The Great Canadian Notebook, and it's in rotation at the top of the hour. And I think I've sent them 7 or 8 so far since we just started last month. And then we moved, and so there was all sorts of confusion with that. So those are 2 areas that are, it's a hobby right now, could be something big. It keeps me busy with the dog and the cats and,
Yes.
and country life. And
Yes.
it's great. So
yeah.
those two sites people go to, give it a click.
Fabulous. And I do know that you recently relocated from a very urban life to a more rural life.
A more rural. Well, you're a farm kid at your heart too, right? So we went from Lakeview in Saskatoon to Radisson, Saskatchewan.
Yes.
It's only 45 minutes from town, and people always say to my wife, how do you handle that long drive? And I'm saying people in Toronto would kill for a 3-bedroom house 45 minutes from downtown.
Sure they
or
would.
Vancouver. So it's great. Love it. Wonderful.
Great. I was hoping you were going to say that.
Yep.
Well, I know we're out of time, but this has just been riveting. I wish we could just talk longer, but
Well, sometimes my babble meter keeps, on rolling there. So.
well, this was just great. I just want to thank you for coming
Well,
out here
thank
today.
you.
Oh!
It's a pleasure.
It was terrific.
Thank you.
That is all the time we have today for Lit Happens. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can see previous segments on the Shaw TV website or on my website, westfunk.ca. You can connect with us online on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And I will see you next time on Lit Happens.